county government entities for the period ended June 2024. Honorable members, I therefore commit the below mentioned Gongo Level 4 Hospital, E. Marindi Sub-County Hospital, F. Nyandiwa Level 4 Hospital, I. Nyanyela Level 4 Hospital, L. Rangwe Level 4 Hospital.
Hajasoma papers.
Okay. Next order.
Papers.
Leader of the majority party. Proceed to lay.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 25th March 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Report training on committee on the training on legislative practices and procedures held from 7th to 14th January 2025 at BOMA Inn Hotel. House leadership on the training on legislative practices and procedures held from 7th to 14th January. The Constitution provides the sovereign power belongs to the people, which they can exercise directly or through their democratically elected representatives at national and county level. That is Article 1. The governments that are established at both levels must be established in compliance with the Constitution in a bid to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. It is the responsibility of every person to participate in the establishment of a government that is compliant as part of their duty to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. Article and principles of governance that bind all state organs, state officers, public officers, and all persons when interpreting and applying the Constitution and all others, legislation, and in policy making. These include patriotism, good governance, integrity, transparency, and accountability, human dignity, equity, national values, and principles of governance. Therefore, 75 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 by both members and staff of Honorable Speaker, you go to page 5, we shall find, or you will get, members of this particular leadership committee are 18 in number. Shows us the committee clerks who participated in. Thank all members of the County Assembly leadership. Also takes this opportunity to thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk to the County Assembly of Homa Bay for the logistical support accorded to it during the exercise. We are also appreciative of the Secretariat attached to this leadership for their effectiveness and efficiency throughout the report writing process and preparation of this report. On behalf of the County Assembly leadership, it is my pleasure report in the training held from 7th to 4th, the majority leader. You go to page 8, you will get the adoption report. We go to page 9, we'll get the background of the report. Introduction. Leadership, like the proverbial elephant, is easy to recognize but difficult to define. It may fit. Leadership is the lifting of man's visions. Article 73 provides that exercised in a manner that is consistent with the purpose and objects of the Constitution. Authority is vested as the responsibility to serve and not to rule people. The selfless service is based on public interest and should be demonstrated through honesty in execution of public duties, declaration of personal interests that may conflict with public duties, accountability for decisions, action, discipline, and commitment to the service. Leadership and integrity are pairs in pod. It's in the current dynamic world and in Kenya, one cannot exist without the other. Citizenry have become more empowered through the Constitution 2010 to demand better leadership, which can only be achieved through integrity. Therefore, it was important for the County Assembly leadership to undergo training that would help them to be equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary for compliance with the provisions of Article 73, 75, and 185 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Key lessons learned of the assemblies. Key lessons learned of the assemblies to establish committees is inherent in its of the Constitution, B of the County Government Act provides for establishment of a committee on delegated county typologies. 5 other select committees which can be housekeeping committee, ad hoc committees created by resolutions of the Assembly. Under Article 185 and Part 2 of 4th Schedule to the Constitution 2010 are expansive and cannot be effectively discharged in plenary. Strict rules of procedure, limited time, and large number. Committees are critical cog in legislative business assembly. It is famously stated that Congress in session is Congress on public exhibition, whilst Congress in the committee rooms is Congress at work. Thomas Woodrow Wilson, 2028, President of the United States of America. Committees increase efficiency through publicity of functions, take assembly to the people, expert input, and stakeholder engagement, tapping expertise of members' rationale for committees, in-depth, specialized and detailed considerations of matters, facts of case matter, examining witnesses, gathering of evidence, sifting evidence, and drawing reasoned conclusions, promote public debate, guiding the Assembly on the 53, providing for appointments to committees, criteria for nomination of members to cease upon discharge, number 157, end of term, Assembly, section 1, 3 and 2, term of the state based on ad hoc reconstitution. Part 8, committees have the following powers and immunities. Power to summon witnesses to appear. Power to enforce attendance of witnesses. Power to examine witnesses on both commission or request or action from civil or criminal proceedings. The power to committees is necessary for performance of functions such as approval of appointments, viewing of conduct of county officers, oversighting on the executive, oversighting of expenditure, roles of committees, including county executive and agents to the people. Detailed matters, general functions of committees include conclusion, examining witnesses, gathering of evidence, take assembly to the people, and allow direct contact with the public, stakeholders, and public engagement, promote public debate on a subject at issue. Other functions of the committee include studying the program and policy objectives of departments responsible for functions and policies, study, assess, and analyze the relative success of the departments as measured by the results obtained as compared with their objectives, making reports and recommendations to the County Assembly as often as possible, with recommendations and scrutinize and the resolutions of the House on adopted committee reports. In select committee is nearly as similar to the proceeding member who must be present before commencement, and when making subcommittees are formed for effective simultaneous and timely delivery on tasks. Chairperson chairs of both, a member of the committee elected by the committee to chair. C of meeting is stipulated in section 167, where there should be a committee meeting convened at least once in 2 months. The frequency is determined by the mandate and sealing as per SRC. Committees cannot sit when the House is sitting unless with the Speaker's permission. The meeting is suspended whenever division bell is rung. There can be joint sittings with other committees on a matter of cross-cutting nature, co-chaired by the chairperson of participating committee. Failure to attend temporary absence can lead to removal and replacement. Temporary absence is substituted by a temporary member. Attendance of committee meetings by non-members is provided in section 176A. Non-members may attend but cannot vote. Public access to committee meetings is provided in section to attend unless justifiably with permission of Speaker. Decisions in committees are arrived at through voting. Minority reports of select committee adopted, including minority report, which is signed, tabled, and if for any reason at the commencement of the second reading of a bill, the report of the committee has concerned shall report progress to the County Assembly, and the failure to present the report shall be noted by the liaison committee for the necessary action. Progress reports are prepared half yearly and submitted to the liaison committee. They are a basis for legacy reports. Prepared and submitted committee. There is room for engagement of experts with a identify and maintain a data bank of experts based on their mandates. Members adversely mentioned are to be excluded from deliberating on that matter or are on nomination if report is adopted. That one is found in section 154(4). Effective committee meetings entails using some 6 pieces of meeting. One is purpose. Should be called for purpose only achievable by coming together specific people. That is, when a meeting is called, it must be purposefully called. Power, the authority that provide the power of the people of the group to meet. People, those who should be selected to attend the meeting. Procedure, success of a meeting depends on effective enforcement of rules and procedures. Papers, relevant documents related to the agenda and the activities of the meeting, and then the product, the expected outcome from the meeting, time management in meetings generating agenda. Bad practice in conducting meetings include generating agenda for the day during the meeting. This can take a lot of time. Good practice in conducting meetings entails generating agenda and circulating before the meeting if rules allow. Bad practice also entails arriving in time. Bad practice also entails arriving on time. I think that one, I don't understand it. Or past time appointed.
Leader of majority, do you need the indulgence of the clerk?
I've got it now.
Okay, proceed.
Okay, thank you. Bad practice also entails arriving on time or past the time appointed for the meeting or waiting to be called to join the meeting. Good practice entails being at the meeting venue in time, at least 10 minutes before appointed time. Bad practice is also taking a lot of time to discuss preliminaries at the expense of business of the day. Taking a lot of time to establish quorum, prayers, introduction of members, introduction and adoption of agenda, opening remarks, reading and confirmation of minutes, matters arising. Good practice entails preliminary business taking a quarter of meeting time. Usually ordinary meetings take a half to 2 hours or shorter on sitting days. Allocate time for every agenda item in order to manage business instead of being managed by business. It is an absurdity to conduct business for which one has no control of time. Bad practice is conducting committee meetings, also entailing lengthy debate on introduction and adoption of agenda. Good practice is that as a matter of principle, circulate draft agenda before the meeting to build consensus, except when confidential. Bad practice is also reading minutes during the during the meeting. Good practice is to avoid reading and making major changes to the minutes during the meeting. If rules allow, circulate meetings before the meeting. On matters arising, bad practice is allowing lengthy debate because these were issues which were dispensed with in the last meeting. Good practice is if there is need for debate on these reports, then a new agenda should be provided for as new business. The chair should provide directions on these matters and inform members under what agenda item their concerns on the report will be taken care of. On deviation from the day's business, the practice is allowing members to engage in a lot of sideshows deviating from the business of the day. Good practice is the chair should inform members at all times by making reference to standing orders of rules or other limiting regulations. On lengthy consultations, bad practice is a lot of consultations between the chair and the committee clerk or a member during the meeting. During practice, good practice is that the consultation should have been done before the meeting. On managing legislative, bad practice is carrying out logistical work during the meeting, like photocopying documents. Good practice is that this should be done before the meeting by preparing the meeting kit and other logistical requirements. On preparing debates, bad practice, repeating debate on an agenda which has already been agreed upon. Good practice is that the chairperson should be alert and caution members against this. On meeting preparations, bad practice is that the chairperson, members and persons involved are not prepared, and therefore the debate goes round in circles due to contributions from ignorance. Good practice is that members should take personal responsibility to prepare well. On the committee secretariat, bad practice is that logistical issues not well addressed. Good practice is to address matters of logistical proactively. On interpretations, on interruptions like phone calls and other meetings within the meeting. Good practice is to without fear or favor. On repetitions, bad practice is members restating what others have said, and the chairperson allows this. Good practice is to inform members of the need not to restate what others have said, but merely to support. On presiding of meetings, bad practice is the chairperson not taking full charge of the meeting by enforcing rules of procedure without fear or favor, being unprepared and able to summarize members' contributions. Good practice is the chairperson should enforce rules and summarize contributions. On briefing latecomers, bad practice is briefing anybody who arrives late, takes a lot of time. Good practice is never brief them. If necessary, do this at the end of the meeting, except for principal members or any other important person. Honorable Speaker, before I read our prayer or my prayer, I want to say that this was a very effective deliberation. It was a good learning, and in fact it is a process that we said should be brought to the plenary. Everybody here is a leader. You can be a leader in leadership within the assembly, but you are a leader elsewhere. Give the same teaching or learning to each and every. Are well informed, and I believe that the secretary are really being here and listening to what we discussed at HOMA in Mombasa. I believe if we were in Eldoret, thank you, in Eldoret, and leadership in the county assembly. Otherwise,
well put. Who is your second?
My seconder is Honorable Waka.
Thank you. Honorable Nicholas Owaka, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second this particular report to be noted by this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, I want to state the following, that learning is a continuous, and probably why to date we haven't realized already. Honorable Speaker, not only leaders needs to be taken through this kind of training, but all of us, whether you are in the leadership position, and of course all of us are leaders, I want to encourage us first that whoever took us through this training, has already been mentioned by my deputy majority leader, needs to take all of us, so that we can also pick 2 or 3 that can be beneficiary to all of us as an assembly. During this training, we learned a lot. One, we learned about a committee. We realized that, of course, not only interact with a number of issues on day-to-day, or conduct himself within a committee room. Honorable Speaker, the process of nominating a member to a committee, taking into account the different roles that they are supposed to play as enshrined in the various articles we went through, and we realized that each and every committee is very important and independent. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, or in any way amend procedure of doing this. That all. Honorable Speaker, that all. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, during this actually to improve on report is about the leadership, and report is about the leadership, and you need to be knowledgeable. You need to have the respect that you deserve, and in that we that for you to be respected, you must also be in a position to have understood properly the mandate and the position that you are holding. Honorable Speaker, we learned on the issue of time management as a leader. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this has been a problem not only to us, more so as politicians. You know, you wake up in the morning and there is a lot in your head. We were told that you need to sieve what to occupy your mind as you also thrive, to serve the electorate, at the same time balance with the family issues. That was taught pretty well during this training, and that actually made us came out of the training more rejuvenated and people who are now willing to work. We learned that there is also need to allow the public engagement in order to work seamlessly with the public, because we are representative of the people. We at the training learned that at any given time we also need to give a listening ear to the public. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, during this particular training, we were also taken briefly, do we expect from them? You know, we might be seated here and expecting a lot from the clerks. This, the speakers panel and all that. Above all, honorable Speaker, we also learned that we need to develop patience in terms of listening. And that will definitely help us to interpret, analyze all the reports that are actually tabled before us that was taught during this training. I want to take this opportunity to request my colleague, honorable members, that this report is good and it is encouraging. From this, you will be able to learn. Will come when all of us will also be taken through this as we leaders were taken through. I beg to second the noting of this report. I thank you.
Thank you. Well put, Honorable Lowaka. Honorable members, the report having been ably moved by the leader of Majority Party and ably seconded by the Honorable Nicholas Owaka, I therefore propose that this House notes the report of the House Leadership Training held in Bomas Inn Hotel, Eldoret, from the 7th to the 14th January.
Deputy Majority Leader for having presented that, and I want to also thank the seconder for having seconded the Speaker. Then we for having seconded the Speaker. Then we as legislators can get that opportunity to legislate well, because we are and the entire team and the secretariat. I want to agree with what the second Honorable Owaka has said. The training needs to. Sorry, I will repeat that. Not ought. I'm withdrawing the word ought. The training needs to be cascaded down so that each and every person knows their responsibility, Honorable Speaker. With that, it will make it easier moving. The way we have been moving easily and smoothly, Honorable Speaker, it will move even more smoother. Therefore, I want to thank them and note. Thank you.
Well put. Thank you, Honorable Florence. Honorable Tony Otieno. Honorable Nyakomita, I've taken notes.
Speaker, how did you know I wanted to speak?
Because you raised your hand. And your desk does not have a buzzer, so I presume that raising your hand means you're seeking my attention to speak.
Speaker, I wish you could,
unless you're on something else.
You could just rule that they fix my buzzer next so that I use it tomorrow.
There's a reason as to why that...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
Honorable Speaker,
proceed.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Allow me to thank my Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Mono Floreta Ondiek, for this report. I also thank, also very important is to aspect of legislation, Honorable Speaker. If you look at the training, it was majorly on legislative practice and procedures. And as the Honorable Assembly, our role, we have what is called a delegated authority. And this authority, Honorable Speaker, we cannot exercise this authority without really looking at issues processes and issues procedure. And everyone keeps on telling us that this is a house of rules and procedures, Honorable Speaker. And this has set standards, Honorable Speaker, that we have to learn and relearn and also be taken through them each and every time, because, Honorable Speaker, capacity building is very key. Mentioned by Honorable Florence HOMA that members in terms of capacity building, Honorable Speaker, guides our day-to-day activities, Honorable Speaker. Get to know what is the do's and the don'ts and the law of the land, which is recognized in this nation, Honorable Speaker. Which is recognized in this nation, Honorable Speaker. To come up with the laws that one will help Speaker. But we also need subsequent legislation in the name of regulation exercise. And if you look at it, regulation exercise, and if you look at it, even how the Honorable Major we give out as Honorable House, it's also very important, Honorable Speaker.
Well, alluded by my colleague Honorable Tony Otieno that the main the main objective, so that is stated in the training, and that is one of the things that we.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Leadership also entails the kind of person you are. Integrity is also a desire to.
14th January 2025 on parliamentary practices. Honorable members, this House stands adjourned.